Blackwood
Bravo is
Kings.
down.
Blackwood
Bravo
of
is
King
down.
6.
All units
Bravo
aboard.
is down.
All units
What do you imagine when you hear Delta Force? Older audiences and movie lovers remember Chuck Norris and his action movie Delta Force. Anyone familiar with the military knows the Delta Force is one of the elite units of US Army. And those of us who love games knows the Delta Force are Novalogics games based on American Special Forces. And of course, it's a very interesting game to focus on here. So let's start. Delta Force is a combination of the real Delta Force units and Chuck Norris. Why? It's up to you whether you take M249, the heavy machine gun, and try to kill anyone who gives you a nasty smile, or the salient MP5 and try to complete the mission without alerting enemies. Or you can take a Barrett or M40 sniper rifle and kill anyone from long range. But all these weapons have their advantages and disadvantages. If you take M249, you are vulnerable to enemy snipers, and if you take MP5, it is almost impossible to complete the mission when enemies are alerted. And sniper rifles? Good for killing enemies outside, but useless inside and low on ammunition. Don't want to make any compromises? Take M4 with the grenade launcher. It is a powerful assault rifle with a lot of ammunition, and you can use zoom and you can clear buildings with grenades. And that is all. But don't worry, you can take a second weapon, but it is just explosives, 2 rockets with rocket launcher or double ammunition for the primary weapon. And there is also a sidearm. It is just a pistol or a silent pistol. The ultimate combination is M4, double ammunition, and the silenced pistol. Silenced pistol is good at the beginning of the mission, and then M4 does the job. A rocket launcher is fine, but grenade launcher with twice the amount of shells is better. Too bad the game is so unbalanced in this way. And I should also mention that the shot is not just aligned to the first obstacle, but there is a real ballistics, so especially with sniper rifles, you must aim at the enemy according to the distance. Weapons are linked to the enemies and their artificial intelligence. I don't know if there are multiple types of enemies. They are all similar and most of them are equipped with AK-47. But their intelligence is, well, it is really terrible. For example, you can go to a tent. You look to the left and nobody there. You look to the right and there is a terrorist. He is so overwhelmed by your presence that he forgets to shoot you. Well, if you look at him long enough, he will kill you, but this behavior is not very realistic. On the other hand, it is not rare situation outside that you are killed, and you have absolutely no idea where your enemy was. There are 2 options of difficulty, so if you choose hard, the terrorists are more accurate. Sometimes they are trying to cover each other and even crouch, making it harder for you to target him. And despite the bad artificial intelligence, you will be killed many times. There are 2 main things that make the game quite difficult. The first is that you cannot save the game during a mission. At the beginning, the missions are short, about 5 or 10 minutes. At the end of the game, the length could be 30 minutes. So you have to proceed very carefully. The second, and possibly the worst thing, is that only 1 hit may kill you. 2 hits are certain death. You can meet this concept at, for example, Rainbow Six or Project IGI. You cannot heal unless you check pickups in the menu where you select enemy difficulty, player's health, or the presence of allied forces. With these options, you can customize the game according to your preferences, but I should recommend you to leave them as they are or set the artificial intelligence of the enemies to high. Without allied forces and omnipresent death, the game loses its atmosphere. Allied forces are available on most of missions in Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie squad that includes 2 soldiers, and there are 1 or 2 squads available in each mission. Artificial intelligence is similar to the enemies, but they have better reactions, so they can be helpful. But sometimes they walk 1 meter next to each other without noticing it. If you play multiplayer, the NPCs are replaced with the real players, so it would be more fun, but artificial intelligence of the enemies is the same, so the game is pretty simple. And speaking of multiplayer, you can play with up to 32 players on the map in Deathmatch, Team Deathmatch, King of the Hill, and Capture the Flag modes. Each shot is visible as a colored line, so camping is not ultimate tactic, and this type of combat is quite satisfying. Finally, we are getting to the locations, missions, and objectives, and it is the strength of the game. There are a total of 40 missions available in 5 campaigns. Each campaign is situated in a different country. You will visit Peru, Chad, Indonesia, Uzbekistan, and Novaya Zemlya in Russia. There is not much difference in each scenery. Chad is just a desert, and also Novaya Zemlya is just the snow. In Peru, Indonesia, and Uzbekistan, there are some trees, but forget about the huge and dense jungle. And also the buildings are similar, but in the first campaigns there are more tents and small buildings. But especially in Uzbekistan and Russia, there are dangerous bunkers and multi-level buildings, so you will also visit the interiors. Some missions take place at night, so you use the night vision. In those missions, you should use MP5 and silent task solving. But even though the enemies don't have night vision, they behave very similarly to other daylight missions. What a shame. And what will you do? The goals are really diverse. You will try to rescue hostages, retrieve laptops with important information, eliminate hostile forces, destroy drugs and military equipment, and destroy or even protect a military convoy. Once the objective is reached, the mission sometimes ends, but many times you have to get to the extraction point where you will be picked up by Allied helicopter. Often, this part is quite fun because you think that the worst thing is behind you. But in these cases, many reinforcements will spawn behind you, making it difficult to finish the mission alive. I remember hiding my ass in the hills and being afraid to stand up and go to the extraction point because the enemies were suddenly everywhere. But don't worry, it is not as hot as I depicted. And the last interesting aspect of the game is the graphics. Almost all 3D games are based on polygons, but here only characters, vehicles, buildings, and other objects are rendered using polygons. As the name suggests, Voxel Space Engine is based on voxels that are used for rendering the landscape. On the one hand, voxels are uglier than pixels, so the overall graphics are not comparable to the best games of the time. On the other hand, the voxels allowed almost unlimited visibility that was incomparable to other games, and also the landscape looks continuous and not triangular like in other polygon-based games. This engine also supports the generation of grass to hide in, which is an important aspect of this type of game, but this feature is not introduced until the second game in the series. The strengths of the game are voxel space engine that can be used for creating continuous landscape and almost unlimited visibility, diverse goals, and one-shot, one-kill feature. And the weaknesses of the game are also voxel-based engine, which is uglier than other polygon-based engines. Artificial intelligence of your enemies and allies is really terrible, and there are only few weapons. Thank you for watching the video. Next time we will look at a very interesting real-time strategy created by God game specialist Peter Molyneux. Each mission is presented on one planet of different size and you are a shaman with many spells. Do you know what is it? If you want to watch the review of your favorite game, please leave a comment below this video or on our Facebook page. If you want to add your review on our YouTube channel, please send it to oldschoolgamesreviews@gmail.com, and if it is good, everyone can watch it soon. So bye and see you next time!